Hi, I'm going to go over test one with y'all on this video, and so I suggest that you watch it, and if you have any questions of things on here that you don't understand, please ask me in class on Friday. So on number one, we are dividing fractions, okay? You're going to need to know fractions throughout algebra, so make sure you get all the rules down right now. Okay, so we're going to divide 12/13 by 4. Okay, it does help if you make any whole numbers that you get into fractions, which can easily be done just putting a 1 on the bottom. Now, what's the rule for dividing fractions? To divide fractions, you replace the second number with its reciprocal, just flip it over, and change your sign to multiplication. Now you have multiplying fractions. How do you do that? You can just multiply straight across your numerators, multiply straight across your denominators, but it is easier if you'll cross out first. If there are common factors, and you'll divide 4 by 4, divide 12 by 4, if you'll cross out common factors, then multiply straight across, that is easier, and you don't normally have to reduce your answer. So our answer for number one is 3/13. Okay, on number two, we want to write 125 as a product of prime factors. Okay, we did several of these. What you're going to do is you're just going to rewrite 125 as a product. And I always think about money when things end in 25 or 50 or 75. Well, this is like $1.25. How many quarters would that be? That would be 5 quarters. So 5 times 25 is one way to write 125. Then you need to rewrite 25 as a product. That's 5 times 5. Now again, once you get one of your branches to be a prime number, there's nothing else you can do to that branch. You just circle it, you're done. And these are all prime. And that's your prime factorization. 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. That's the prime factorization of 125. Okay, on number 3, you have some grouping going on. You are asked to solve a problem that has some grouping symbols. So we have to use the order of operations. And the order of operations say that you have to do what's inside your grouping symbols first. We are not going to add 4 plus 3 first. We're going to do what's inside the grouping symbol first. So that's 5 plus, again, there's adding inside here and there's multiplying, and we got to multiply first before we add. Order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's the order you do operations in. Okay, we still have grouping symbols, so we have to keep on working within these. These are called brackets. I'm going to change them to parentheses now, and that's going to be 17. Work within that. Once it's completely simplified into one number, then go to your next thing. This will be adding or multiplying. Do we add or multiply first? Parentheses or grouping symbols, exponents, multiplying and dividing comes before adding and subtracting. So we're going to multiply, get 51, and then all that's left is adding. So our answer to number 3 is 55. Okay, on number 4, we are multiplying mixed numbers. And I was surprised at how some of you that didn't remember how to do this. You can't multiply or divide mixed numbers like they are. You need to change them to improper fractions. And to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, you multiply here and then you add here. So 6 times 3 is 18. So you multiply here and then add. Plus 5 is 23. And you use the same denominator that you have. Times, same thing, change to an improper fraction. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4, 14. Use your same denominator. Now we're multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions, if there's a common factor, divide that out, and I'm dividing by 2. So I divided 6 by 2 and 14 by 2. And now I'm going to multiply straight across. What is 23 times 7? It's 161, and 3 times 5 is 15. And you could just leave your answer like that, 161 over 15. If you want to change it to a mixed number, it's 10 and 11 fifteenths. So either answer's fine for number 4. You could leave it as an improper fraction or change it to a mixed number. Number 5. Number 5 was using some of the laws of exponents, or really just definition of what is an exponent. 3/7 squared. Something squared is means multiplied by itself. So, just for example, this is just an example. 5 squared means 5 times itself, which is 25. So 3/7 squared just means 3/7 times itself. And how do you multiply fractions? You just multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9. 7 times 7 is 49. So 9/49 is the answer to that one. Number 6, again, we are dividing fractions. So how do you divide fractions? You replace the second fraction with its reciprocal. Just flip it over, change your sign to multiplying. Okay, how many times have we multiplied fractions today? So multiplying fractions, you're going to cross out common factors if you can. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 21 7 times. Then we'll multiply straight across. 7 times 13 is 91. 77 times 1 is 77. Again, this answer's fine, or you could change it to a mixed number. So 91 over 77, or 1 and 14 77ths. Okay, on number 7, we were asked to add. We were asked to add 2 fractions, and this is a whole different ball game. We had to add 4 and 4/12 to 2 and 2/4. Okay, to add mixed numbers, you do not have to change these to improper fractions. You can just add them as mixed numbers. Now, the rules for adding fractions, you do have to have a common denominator, which in this case would be 12. 12 goes into 12. 12 times 1 is 12, so 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times what is 12? Well, it's times 3, so remember you have to do the same thing to the top, so that'll be 6/12. Now you have a common denominator. You have an equivalent fraction to this. 6/12 is the same as 2/4, but yet it's got the same denominator so that we can add. And we just add straight down. 4 plus 2, 6 plus 4. Remember when you add fractions, 1/5 plus 2/5 is 3/5. You don't do anything to the denominators. So 4/12 plus 6/12 is 10/12. And what's wrong with that is this needs reducing. 6 and 10/12 is the same as 6. Divide both of these by 2. To reduce fractions, you're just dividing by a common factor, and you get 6 and 5/6. That's your final answer on number 7. Number 8 is another problem involving different grouping symbols, and you have to use the order of operations. Okay, order of operations, say I have to do these parentheses first. So I'm going to clear up the parentheses. 6 plus 4 is 10. You can go ahead and multiply your 3 times 2. Grouping symbol down here, I'm going to do this subtraction first because it's in parentheses. All right, what's left is multiplying and adding. So I'm going to have to multiply first and then add. So I'll get, when I add, I get 36 over 12, and I can divide that, and I'll get 3. So the answer to number 8 is 3. Number 9, again, we are adding fractions on number 9. 2 25ths plus 1/5. Gotta have a common denominator. That's gonna be 25. Common denominator has to be a number that both of these denominators will go into. So it's gonna be something bigger than your biggest denominator. And a lot of times it is one of your denominators. Okay, 5 times what's 25? That's 5. So you're gonna multiply this by 5 to form your equivalent fraction. 25 times what's 25? Well, that's just 1, so we're going to multiply by 1. So we have 2 25ths plus 5 25ths, and that's 7 25ths. And that's all there was to number 9. Okay, number 10, we want to write 17 over 7 as a mixed number. What you do to write an improper fraction as a mixed number is you divide. 17 divided by 7. 7 goes into 17 2 times, with 3 left over. That 3 becomes your numerator, and that becomes your denominator. So this is 2 and 3/7. You get that by dividing. Number 11 is to write a decimal as a percent. Write 0.95 as a percent. To write a decimal to a percent, all you have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the right. So 0.95 is 95%. Number 12, you are asked to add 2 decimals. This is not difficult. Y'all can do this. To add 2 decimals, all you do is you need to make sure that you line up your decimals, okay? So my 6.92 and my 14.8, those decimals need to be lined up. You can fill in with zeros if you need to, any places that need it. And then you just add straight down. And bring your decimal straight down. So 21.72. When you're adding decimals, you line up the decimals. 13 is multiplying decimals. Do you have to line up your decimals when you're multiplying? No. You do not. These just happen to line up, but you don't have to line up your decimals when you're multiplying. So this is just like I'm multiplying the number 213 by 5. This is the same problem. That's what's going on here. So 15, and then there's my answer. There are 4 decimal places in the problem, so you start here and count 4 decimal places to know where to put your decimal in your answer. So the answer is 0.1065. Another way to say this is 1065 10,000ths, because this is the 10,000ths place. Number 14 was, I hope you used the shortcuts that we learned. To multiply or to divide by a power of 10, all you have to do is move your decimals. So if you're multiplying by a power of 10, that's 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so forth. You just move your decimal. This is going to get bigger by 2 decimal places. So I'm going to take the number, the decimal's here right now, and I'm going to move it 2 decimal places. So my new number is 4200100, and if you put your commas in, that's 4,200,100. 15. On 15, you are having to divide decimals, and there were plenty of these for you to practice on in homework. But remember, if you divide decimals and your divisor has a decimal in it, you got to move it before you begin. So I moved to that one place. I have to move the decimal in my dividend one place. And I just like to rewrite my problem. So I've got 149 into 451.4.7. So I'll just rewrite my problem. And 149 will go into 451 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1. And then you subtract 4. Once you subtract, you bring down the next number, which is a 4. 149 will not go into 44, so you have to put a 0 there. 0 will not go into it. So 0 times 149 is 0. and you get 447. Well, you get 44 when you subtract and bring down the 7. And we already know that'll go 3 times. So your remainder is 0. What do I do with the decimal? Bring it straight up. So 30.3 is the answer to 15. 16. We're going to convert a percent to a decimal. Number 16. Convert this to a decimal. For a percent converted to a decimal, you just move your decimal 2 places to the left. So 0.392 is how you convert that to a decimal. Number 17, what is 15% of $39? So this is kind of like one of our restaurant questions. You want to leave a 15% tip. Your bill at the restaurant was $39. To get the answer to that, you're just going to multiply 39 times 0.15. Remember, you can't multiply by a percent. You have to change it to a decimal and then multiply. Do not have to line up your decimals when you multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. 15 plus 4 is 19. Remember to scoot over. Add straight down. So 585 is your answer. 585? No, you got to put your decimals in. There's 2 decimals here, 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places here. So if we're talking money, you're going to leave a $5.85 tip. Number 18 was another hopefully easy problem for you. If you're dividing by a power of 10, the number's going to get smaller. You're dividing, so the number's going to get smaller, and you move your decimal place just 1 spot, like that, 1.69. Okay, number 19, we want to change 1/4 to a decimal. This is one you really should have memorized. You should know what 1/3 is, 1/5, 2/3, 3/4. But if you don't have them memorized, you can always just work it out. Divide 1 by 4. Okay, 4 won't go into 1, so we're going to add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. Subtract, bring down another 0, and you can see that that is 0.25. 1/4 is 0.25. 1/3 is 0.33333, goes on forever. 1/5 is 0.20. 2/3 is 0.66666, goes on forever. 3/4 is 0.75, and so forth. These are good to memorize. If you don't memorize them, then you still should be able to get the answers by dividing. And the last problem was number 20. We want to reduce 10 over 24. Just reduce that fraction. To reduce a fraction, you're going to divide numerator and denominator by a common factor. So I'm going to divide by 2. 10 divided by 2, 24 divided by 2. And that's your answer. I hope that helps y'all understand what you missed on test 1. Some of you already have your tests back. If you don't, I can send pictures of your test of what you missed, which I'll try to do that in just a few minutes. Give you these pictures back so that you can see what you missed. Go through this video, try to figure out what you did wrong, and if you don't understand what you did wrong, be sure to ask me about it. You can call me this week, or you can wait till Friday and ask whatever is better for you.